Kamyu Moore told Bitcher that there are barbarians who raided their ruby mines. They fire arrows that contain powerful aura. Countless people died by getting sniped while guarding at night. There is no way to stop them since their arrow can pierce 3 meters thick walls. Kamyu also added that there is an arrow that break his uncle's shield magic and hit him in the chest. Although he was fine, his pride has been damaged. Bitcher also added that their clan head has a similar experience. He heard that is how his nose got wounded in a fight. Bitcher told Kamyu that there must be an outstanding individual amongst the barbarians. Kamyu replied, I think it was a woman, but it is hard to distinguish because of the black paint on their face. That is when one of the magicians called the Vice Fortress leader Kamyu Moore, because the search party had captured the barbarian scouts. The captured barbarian seems like came from the shaman tribe of Rococo. The assistant told Kamyu that they cannot extract information, and because of the strong shamanic magic, it is impossible to use magic and read his memories. Kamyu asks him, when you kidnapped a few people, one of them was a daughter of the Morg clan. Her name is Rose, my second cousin. What did you do to her? The barbarian responded, using his own language, but no one can understand him. Kamyu asks her assistant to find someone to translate it, but she told Kamyu that all of them were killed and kidnapped when they were ambushed last time. Bitcher said that he knows a bit of Rococo language. Although he is not fluent, he knows some basic phrases. Kamyu could only praise Bitcher about it since he almost knows everything. Bitcher used the Rococo language and speak to the barbarian. He asks where is the cousin of Kamyu, red hair, red eyes, white skin, and a 12-year-old child. Then the barbarian smiled, and his aura turns into something scary as he answers Bitcher. Bitcher told Kamyu, he says she is dead. Kamyu told the barbarian, the other leaders are on their mission, so the highest authority here is the Vice Fortress leader and medium representative, Kamyu Moore. Then, as someone who has authority, Kamyu provides her verdict, which is summary execution. She cast an earth spell with the spike and then stab it on the barbarian. She also cast another spell that burns and made the barbarian scream in pain. Kamyu told him, scream as much as you want. After this war is over, your words will only be used in hell. Seeing how their fellow barbarian was executed, the others could only cower in fear. Kamyu told them let's go. Bitcher could only remain silent seeing how Kamyu was angry. But outside the tent, Kamyu cried so hard. For Bitcher, even if she acts strong, she is still just a 15-year-old girl. Bitcher asks her, were you close with her? Kamyu replied, I was. She followed me everywhere, a good and innocent child that didn't fit the brutal world of the Morg clan. To comfort Kamyu, Bitcher told her that she doesn't need to be sad, since she went to the afterlife peacefully. Then Kamyu told him, do you think I'm an idiot? I'm a genius. Although I can't speak, I understand a little. He asks Bitcher, tell me the truth. Did I hear it right or not? Bitcher could only stay silent when Kamyu noticed, because what that bastard actually said.
I ate her.
Kamyu was crying while saying, I'm sorry sister. Although Bitcher wants to grab and comfort her, Bitcher died as a virgin in his past life, so he has no experience in comforting girls. So he just leaves her alone until she finishes crying. Kamyu told Bitcher that what he does is not bad, because if he tried to comfort Kamyu awkwardly, she will kill him. Kamyu told Bitcher, we don't have time to be sad. We need to pull ourselves together and take revenge as quickly as we can. Then Bitcher offers his hand to Kamyu that made her blush. But there is a sudden ring of the alarm, which means there was a signal that the barbarians are attacking. Kamyu told Bitcher, looks like the time for revenge came to us already. Then barbarians came in, riding on their large pack of wolves. Their captain was a female aura user, which she embedded in her arrow. When she aimed and releases her arrow, the magician on the watch could only be surprised as the arrow approached and break down the wall easily, killing both of the magician in instant. Using the barbarians' language, she orders her troops to go in full assault. They captured some men and women to make them their slaves. Some were fed to their wolves. Everything was in chaos. In just a split second, out of all the warriors, Bitcher was the one who arrived the earliest compared to the rest of the warriors and magicians. But he was suddenly captured, and there are ropes that were put in his neck. Using the Baroque tribe language, girls were talking that they catch a good man, and their husband hunting this time is good. Bitcher could only listen, and in his mind, a question pops up. Do the barbarian tribes hunt for husbands and wives for better offspring or something? Bitcher grabs the rope. With his super strength, he just carried the two women and slams them on the ground. The man on the tribe was stunned to see the strength of Bitcher. Bitcher told them, "Sorry, but I can't be your husband. I may already be engaged." Bitcher remembers that Hugo always reminded him that he should not face the Baroque tribe in combat before the main force comes. So, he decided to wait up for the main force. He just parried the attacks of the barbarians without releasing an offensive attack. Seeing the speed of Bitcher, the barbarians could only be stunned in awe. But there is a sudden attack that created a huge fire explosion. The barbarians were burned and slowly turned into ashes. It was Camus. She asks Bitcher, "Why are you not killing them?" Seeing the angry Camus, who is shouting, "Die you, barbarian bastards!" Bitcher could only be silent, looking at the girl turn the entire area into a sea of fire. Seeing that Bitcher used a liquid aura in his sword, Camus asks, "You were a graduate? As I thought, you were the only man I can accept." Bitcher told him that his clan had told him to not engage in fight until they can meet with the main forces. Camus told her, "If that was what the Baskerville clan had told you, then the Baskervilles can step back." She shouted, "I will deal with them." Then he cast 4 simultaneous spells and release it to the whole place, making the place like the fire in hell. Everything was incinerated. Seeing the quad casting, Bitcher could only praise that Camus got stronger. Before she can cast another strong fire attack, a needle was shot at Camus that hit her neck. Camus told Bitcher, "Think I got hit by a paralyzing poison. I can't move my body." Seeing how Camus reacts, Bitcher could only conclude that Camus is a high-maintenance girl. One of the Baroque tribe warriors throws his rope to Camus, but no one can touch the girl of the MC, so Bitcher catch it, preventing the man to capture Camus. The man pulled back his rope, but he can't make Bitcher move even an inch. Bitcher told Camus that it is better to retreat for now and wait for the main forces. But Camus insisted that she needs to revenge his cousin. But before they can escape, Bitcher felt that there was a very fast and strong arrow that was embedded in an aura that was approaching him. Bitcher hurriedly evaded the arrow, but the impact was so strong that even made Camus to be alarmed. Seeing the destructive force of that attack, Bitcher realizes that is the person that Camus is referring to. While Bitcher was distracted and was on focus with the captain of the tribe, the other warrior grabs this opportunity to take up paralyzed Camus and put her behind his back. Bitcher knows that in the original timeline, Camus was kidnapped by barbarians during her teenage years. Of course, she returned not too long ago after destroying the barbarian clan and was called the Queen of Le Rouge at Le Noir. But still, he wants to save Camus. Seeing her crying, while aiming to rush toward Camus, the captain of the Baroque tribe tries to bash the head of Bitcher. The captain misses her attack on Bitcher, but the aura created a huge explosion on the ground. Bitcher could only question why was she trying to swing her bow. She kicks Bitcher with his 180 degrees kick, and he was hit in the stomach. That made Bitcher to be pushed backward from the impact of the strong kick. Bitcher realizes that this brat moves differently from others. He thinks if he needs to go all out to fight her. The girl stops attacking and talks to Bitcher, pointing her hands at herself. She told Bitcher, "You remember me? I told you we will meet again." It was the slave girl he saves at the slave auction that was held in one of their estates. Bitcher told her, "Are you repaying good with evil?" The girl replied that she is only here for revenge at the Moore clan when she was captured as a slave, and she has no fighting matter with Bitcher. She told Bitcher that she will take the fort leader, and if he wants to save the girl, he must follow them. Bitcher was thinking if he needs to reveal his power to save Camus, but the main forces have already arrived. It was Adolphe Morgue who leads the main force. Adolphe shouted, "You dare return my niece." Then he released a wind spell that creates slashes and explosions on the ground. The captain was happy, seeing that the representative of the Morg clan was annoyed, and then she escaped, riding her wolf. Even though the spell is strong, the wolves are so agile that they easily evaded the magic of Adolf one by one until they fully escape. Bitcher could only praise the good plan ambush. It was finished in just 3 minutes after the ambush signal. He also blames Kamine's lack of experience when it escalated. One of the mages told Adolf that the Baroque tribe retreated to the unexplored area of Mount Le Rouge et Le Noir, which made Adolf shock. Adolf knows that it is too dangerous to go to the unexplored area, since they have no idea what is in there. It is too dangerous to follow them at night. He could only blame himself since there is nothing he can do, even though his niece was kidnapped. Then Bitcher told them that they can still chase them, since he went there when he was young. But the truth, he knows the general outline of the area when he was a hound of the Baskerville in his past life. Hearing that increases the hope of Adolf to save his niece. The assistant told Adolf that going into the area at night is just a suicide, but Adolf told him that anyone who wished to leave is okay. Now, he can only put his trust in Bitcher to save his niece. Located near the Baskerville territory, the dense forest of Mount Le Rouge et Le Noir is found. In that place, there exist mosquitoes that suck out bones, thorny vines that hold poisons, spiders that move in silence, and other such dangerous factors. A normal person cannot last an hour in that place. It was also called a life-eating forest. However, Bitcher just jumps into the forest like it was his playground. Adolf asks one of the Baskerville swordsmen, are the young lads of the Baskerville like him? He told Adolf that Bitcher is just special compared to others. Seeing the large hornets in his way, he just opens his sword scabbard, slicing them up into pieces in a flash. Suddenly, Bitcher stops and made a hand sign to stop. That made the others be alarmed. Bitcher told them that it seems they have not gotten that far. Bitcher told them, it is rumored that the Baroque hunters spread dry leaves around to hear pursuers approach. We must be careful from this point onwards. Then Adolf cast a spell on Bitcher called Silence. Adolf told Bitcher that it is a spell that prevents making sounds while walking. I'll leave it from you here. I will never forget this favor, nephew-in-law. Bitcher starting to question what does he mean by nephew-in-law. Camus was shouting that when she gets out, she will burn all of them to death, and will show them her mighty fireball, but no one was giving her attention to her. And the barbarian women was just talking about the husband hunting, and that they like the kid that they captured a while ago, referring to Bitcher. But this man from the tribe who captured Camus was telling her that he had caught an excellent female, and all of the men in their tribe will just be jealous of him. Camus told him, you pervert. What do you think are you doing to me? Just kill me instead. But the warrior doesn't even understand what Camus is saying. But seeing the action of Camus, she knows that she is rebellious, so he wants to educate her. Then he grabs Camus's mouth and does a perverted expression, licking his arrow. The captain called this man a Hun and told him to release her slave. A Hun protested and told the captain that he was the one who darted and netted her. But the captain told him that she was the one who made that possible, and if not for her, he would have already died at the hand of the sword boy. Referring to Bitcher, Camus realizes that the captain is the leader named Ian, and for her to escape, she must deal with her at all cost. Because of the protest of a Hun, Ian got angry and told him, you can challenge me whenever you don't like it, a Hun. I will turn you into pulp. Seeing the extreme bloodlust of Ian, a Hun could only surrender and told the leader that he is giving up and he will just do whatever the leader wants. She kicks Camus and told her Morg next leader, I have also been captured and sold as a slave by the Morg before. But luckily, I received kindness and was able to escape my fate as a slave. She added, such kindness will not be given to you. I will spend time, slowly etching into your bones, and tame your soul, until your daily life will only be that of licking my toes with your tongue. Then a sudden strong explosion occurs that made Ian be alarmed. The tribe warriors shouted ambush, while their fellow warriors succumb into the fire spell that was released. It was Adolf who was shouting, you animal. I came to repay the debt before. Hearing that voice made Camus happy, then Adolphe shouted, "Return my niece this instant." Magicians from the morgue just use spells to slaughter the Baroque tribe, while the Baskerville uses swords to slash them one by one. But Bitcher, who was watching from the sidelines, notices that there is something strange. He starts to question why was the Baroque tribe who ambushed them systematically is now starting to get flustered. One of the women of the tribe shouted, "These crazy bastards. How could they create an uproar within the forest in the middle of the night? They ran away from the forest after that." Seeing them run away, the angry Adolphe told his men to go after them and slaughter all of them. Camus was happy seeing the barbarian beaten. She says, "Serves him right." Then Bitcher suddenly at the back Camus and do a hand gesture to make Camus stay silent. But Camus asked him, "Did you come to save me?" Bitcher replies, "Do you not understand the hand gesture used for keeping quiet?" Ian then comes, and he told Bitcher, "The boy who uses the knife well, I know you would come. A strong physique that made it possible for you to cover a long distance within a short span of time. A level-headedness that gets you through the darkness of the forest. A passionate and pure love that made you put your life on the line to save your girl. I won't ask about your past. You passed." Bitcher could only be confused about what does she mean by the word "you pass," since there is no test that he does. This just creates an intense electrical tension between the two the two girls. Bitcher was thinking if he meets this girl in his past life, if he was the Baroque archer called Night Fox who scarred Hugo's Nosebridge. But Ian is still too young and unskilled to be that person. While thinking deeply, there was a dart that's sneakily aiming Bitcher. But when a Hun blows his dart, the needle was just blocked by the power of Bitcher. He was shocked seeing that it was blocked easily, like he knows that he was aimed. Seeing that things become more troublesome, he carries Camus so high like she was a Disney princess. He told Camus to bear with him a little, as he will deliver her to her uncle as soon as possible. Camus could only agree while blushing. The jealous woman could only stay in her place and take a sigh, because he wants to take Bitcher obediently to their tribe. While carrying Camus, two of the archers from the tribe aimed and shot both Camus and Bitcher, but it was blocked easily. That is why Ian was the one who uses his bow, which she embeds with her strong aura. She aims it at Camus because she wants to get rid of her, and she just uses her as bait to capture Bitcher. A strong arrow was released on their way. The arrow that was shot by Ian was approaching both of them at a faster rate. Only a few distances it will reach them. But suddenly, huge chunks of ice suddenly appear, protecting Camus. Only a few centimeters and the arrow will hit the head of Camus. It was the ice spell that was cast by Adolphe. He then asks, "My niece, are you all right?" Adolphe cast Cure Poison on Camus. He told her that the poison was severe to fully remove and suggests that after the battle, they will go to the church to remove everything. She asks her uncle to let her go for a moment. Then she jumps and hugs Bitcher while shouting, "You saved me again, Bitcher." Adolphe said while crying, "Your uncle also did his best." Camus angrily told her uncle that he is late, and she will tell her mother everything. Dame, what a spoiled brat. Ian put her rope on the neck of Bitcher, but she was confused when Bitcher doesn't even move even an inch while she was pulling him down. She started to question why was he so strong. She told Bitcher that it will be best to obediently be captured since there is no time left. Camus shouted, "You again." But Bitcher was confused. What does she mean when she said she doesn't have much time? Then a very large roar from a monster pops up, and birds from the dark forest start to go flying around. Ian was so scared. She said, "Sheet, we have been noticed." The hidden Beelzebub on the arteries of Bitcher is starting to react, which means something is coming this way. Ian shouted, "She is coming, Madame Eight Legs." Then a large vine suddenly sprouted from the ground. It looks like a large pillar. All of the warriors from the Baroque tribe started to cower in fear, and even the wolves were so scared about Madame Eight Legs. The number of large vines sprouting also increases. Then it hits the ground and broke everything it hits. It was the 8 legs of the spider-like creature. Bitcher knows who Madame Eight Legs is since he already reincarnated, which is why he knows how scary it is. In his mind, to think I would meet this monster in a place like this. In his memory, that monster is of an S rating. Madam, 8 legs. Before Camus could open her mouth, Bitcher covers it and told her that Madam, 8 legs and eyes aren't good, but its ears and skin are very sensitive. Madam 8 legs is a giant spider-like creature that spits acids that can't melt anything. Before Bitcher was regressed, he remembers the words of one of the natives, a fragment of a legend that sounded like a myth. It was the story of how a horror by the name of Madam who has 8 legs lived deep within the dense forest. Afterwards, the name Madam 8 Legs were written in the monster encyclopedia that was completed over multiple editions. An S-rank danger rating, a monster with the Kingdom Destroyer rank where one monster could end an entire nation. It spits acid on Bitcher and his group, and Bitcher just evaded it, while Adolf uses his shield to protect Camus. A Hun hare was hit by the acidic poison, which is why he shouted like a girl. Ian cut it off and told him that he was an idiot for shouting in front of the madam. If he weren't the son of the shaman, he will be killed by now. Seeing that Madam 8 Legs was approaching, Ian ordered the Baroque tribe to commence a full retreat. Adolf and his group also decided to retreat and run. Baroque ran away while spreading out, but the Morgs and Baskerville ran in a group. Because of the difference of retreating, the one that Madam 8 Legs will be chasing is decided. Adolf could only curse the monster, since it is chasing in their direction. One of the magicians of Morg told Sir Adolf to leave everything to him, and he knows that an insect type of monster is afraid of fire. So he cast a fire spell and throw it to Madam 8 Legs. They were happy that it hit bullseye and the explosion of the fire was intense. One of Team Magician asks, "Did it work?" But that made the madam more angrier, stabbing one of their fellow magicians. The one proud magician could only look at his comrade that had died in Madam 8 Legs' hand. The Madam 8 Legs were still approaching them, and there was not even a scratch from that fire spell earlier. Adolf could only said, "My goodness, just what the hell is that?" Bitcher told them that this is the end. They will be annihilated at this rate, and someone needs to stay to keep the monster busy. One of the Baskerville warriors volunteers to stay, but Bitcher told him that he does not have the skills to bind the monster long enough. Bitcher added, "We can't bring this thing all the way to our territory. In this situation, the best way for us is to keep the monster here." Bitcher told them, "It is for me to stop it. Please leave, we don't have much time." Adolf told them that they must leave, and to not let his nephew-in-law sacrifice be in vain. Camus and his brothers could only cry as they ran away from that monster. To show that he was trying to attack the monster, he is trying to sheath his sword, but as soon as they have long gone, he drops the axe and also drops his sword. Bitcher knows that there is no way it is interested in destroying the Baskerville territory, and this madam hasn't fully grown yet. With combined forces, they could definitely defeat it. But it is a great opportunity for him. By faking his death, he can escape Hugo's surveillance until he progresses into the 10th Fang. When he is skilled enough to face Hugo or control his strength, that is when he intended to go back to his clan. Bitcher used Beelzebub, and it turns into a sword in his hand. Bitcher knows that if he doesn't go all out right now, he could definitely die. Now, Bitcher is now ready to fight using his full power to defeat Madam 8 Legs. Increased mana through the blessing of the River Styx, a greatly refined aura created through the high-ranking Baskerville swordsmanship, and the magic sword Beelzebub. On top of that, Bitcher will use everything to crush Madam 8 Legs. Like an electric speed, Bitcher jumps from side to side to gain a momentum. Then he jumps so high, like a tall building, to gain a clear aim to the monster. Seeing that the monster is within his reach, he tries to gather this strength. The power of Beelzebub is flowing. He uses one of Baskerville's skills, the Baskerville 5th Fang technique, and thrust Beelzebub on Madam 8 Legs. The large impact hit the head of the monster. That attack was so strong that it even pins down a giant spider on the ground. The impact of the fight creates a singularity of light, where all of the energy gathers. Then, a huge explosion has been made. Seeing the explosion, Camus cried, thinking that Bitcher died from that strong attack, when in fact it was Bitcher who made that strong attack. The day of the execution of Bitcher comes. Bitcher van Baskerville, the most loyal hound of the Baskerville clan. After his mission, his head was put into guillotine. All of the clan soldier was just watching, and in the middle of that was Hugo, the leader of the Baskerville. Using his hand, he gives his verdict to Bitcher. In that clear night, only the clear red eyes were emphasized in the view of Bitcher. A hand gesture to execute Bitcher has been ordered, and with the sound of the guillotine blade, the head of Bitcher rolled down. The blood drips down on the head of Bitcher that was cut down, and the back of the leader can only be seen as a sign that all of his men were just insignificant ants for the sake of his desire. After that, the only dream of Bitcher is to definitely make his revenge on Hugo. Then Bitcher wakes up in an unknown place with the rope around his neck. He thinks if it was just yesterday, or many days have already passed since he passed out from the battle, but still, he was lucky that he survives. Bitcher knows that if Madame Eight Legs didn't flinch at the light that exploded in the final moment, he really could have died. Muscles, veins, and bones, none of them are intact. Underestimating Madame's 8 legs, combat abilities cost him the most, but thanks to the snare on his neck, he manages to survive. But he was happy that everything went according to his plan. He was able to escape Hugo's surveillance, and there were also some witnesses like Camus and Adolphe that could prove his fake death. When he goes out to his camp, he was in the village of the Baroque tribe. He realized that he was captured by them. At the end, he is now in the territory of the enemy of the Baskerville clan. He knows that it is a problem, and he won't be able to escape with his broken body. Some quite familiar faces for Bitcher were seen, as some of the Knights of Moore, and Baskerville was also made as a slave. Then a Hun came in at the back of Bitcher. He asks him, "Do you know how to speak Baroque, right?" Looking at a Hun, Bitcher knows that he was the dark guy who has a poisonous needle at that time. A Hun told him, "Be thankful that you are not one of them." He also asks, "How does it feel to watch as your comrades walk to their deaths? If you weren't the leader's pet, I would have already roasted you alive." Hearing the word pet leaves a bad taste in the mind of Bisker, as he was the hound of the Baskerville for a long time. Bitcher released a very strong bloodlust that even made a Hun sweat. In a Hun's mind, what are those eyes? Because of the bloodlust, he punches Bitcher so hard. He told Bitcher to find his master at the end of the snare. Bitcher memorized his face and aimed to pay back in full once he fully recovers. Bitcher followed the rope, but the rope is too long. He walked for a while, but he can't still see the end of the rope. Then a sudden movement in the rope made Bitcher alarm, because it means that his master is near. It was a woman who was taking a bath at the end of the rope. It was Ian who was acting like seducing Bitcher, looking at him. But Bitcher was a Chad who is not affected by any woman. He just holds the rope and looks at his master. She told Bitcher to get down, and then she pulls him down to the ground. A sudden arrow was released at the back of Bitcher, and because Ian pulls him down, it hit on the tree. Ian angrily told the brats to practice shooting arrows somewhere. Bitcher could only lie down from being pulled with a broken body. Ian told him that she was thankful for saving her in the slave auction, and she said that they repay their favors twofold and revenge tenfold. She said, "You saved me once, and I saved you twice." Ian told him that if she didn't check him, Bitcher would have died, and thanks to her stubbornness he was saved. Bitcher asks why did she save him. She didn't reply. Ian just smiles like a girl waiting for her husband to, "You know what I mean." Ian told him, "You looked like you had a pretty high position in the group. How much will they pay to buy you from us?" For Bitcher, it was a problem because if a negotiation occurs, his plan in evading Hugo will fall to ruins. But Ian just smiled because it was a joke. He asks Bitcher, "How was that? Did you feel some hope? Unfortunately for you, you will not be able to return to them." Ian told him that he will become her slave. Hearing that made the heart of Bitcher to calm down. Then Ian cuts his rope. Ian told him, "Shall we establish our title first? Call me master." Bitcher just looks at her with a straight face. But Ian becomes more excited since she likes a defiant looks, and she wants to tame Bitcher more. Ayan told Bitcher that they need to go to a place before they do something. She said, "Let's start moving." Ayan said, "If you're on someone else's land, you should go greet them. The head of this village, the hot juicy mommy, I mean the tribe leader,